Oh my goodness, I didn't even know that it was 2:01. So welcome. Hi everyone. How are you doing today? Um, well, this is American Thanksgiving. So for my Americans who have decided to tune in, thank you for joining me today. And for all the rest of you, grateful to have you today. I'm actually going to celebrate a little bit later tonight. So that's when I see my troop and my pack. So welcome to another show. Susan Winter, best-selling author and relationship expert. And today we are talking about older women and younger men, something I know a little bit about. As a matter of fact, that's what led me accidentally into the career that I have today. And I'm willing to take all of your questions. I will give you an overview, and I'm happy to answer anything you want to ask because there are a lot of different factors involved here. So as you know, my entry into this field was because I found myself in love with a man 20 years younger. Now, I must admit that when I ended a 10-year relationship with the same aged man, he was like living with a grandpa. He was my age, but he was like 50 years older. He was exceedingly restrictive, very conservative, very controlling. I was a young woman. I didn't, whatever. I learned. And so I set myself free, and younger men seemed to be attracted to me. And I didn't have this on my radar. I had no point of reference for it. And it's funny because it's not as though our moms sit us down and say, no, 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 this isn't allowed. But sociologically, I had absorbed the message. Not cool. Men, of course, men can be with a woman 5, 15, 25, 30 years younger. Michael Douglas, all these fabulous people. Larry King keeps having 35-year younger wives, but it wasn't allowed for women. And if it was allowed at all, it was looked on maybe as a casual fling, as a love affair. But never, never, never were you to have ever fallen in love with and taken these young men seriously. And that was an issue for me. So before I go any further, I want to say hi to everybody. I've had a chance to say hi to a few of you. Debbie, hello. My Magnification, hi. Hi, how are you? Rabia B, hi from London. Eric Cole, hi. Phoenix Sun, how are you doing? I'm a younger man and I'm very attracted to you, Susan. Thank God. Oh, that makes me feel good. Thank you very much, my dear. Amanda from Wales. Hi, doll. Thank you for writing me. Sheldon, hi from New Zealand. Let's see. This is pretty early for you guys, isn't it? Isn't it like 5 a.m. your time? Galactic Woman, hi, hi. I know this. Nigel, Tammy, hi, everyone. Thomas Sully, thank you. Taffy, Ruben, Patricia, Rai, Mali, hi, everyone. So, hi from Malaysia. Marvin, how are you doing? Bruno from Argentina. You guys, I love this international audience. Okay. So has anybody here, oh, I'm sweating bullets. Oh my God, I should have left the air conditioning on. Has anybody here had an age-varied relationship? I know Thomas said don't necessarily do it about gender, but I really have to address the fact that, it is not a commentary if it's an older man with a younger woman, but it is very much a story if it is a younger woman, a younger man with an older woman. So let's talk about the first layer of unique challenges that this kind of a partnership would have. The first layer that I experienced, of course, was external. It was sociological. It was the fact that I was living a model that was disapproved of. And the shocking thing, again, is had I just done this as a sexual fling, that would have been okay. So to treat my younger man with disrespect and to basically use him and discard him and compartmentalize him into he's not worth anything more than sexuality, that would have been okay. And I philosophically disagree with minimizing people in general. And especially so somebody that I am seeing that I find has value. So that whole paradigm did not work for me. The external pressure is great. I found that older men were very condemning of it and assumed it was about sex or control. They thought I had mommy issues. The younger women hated me because I had a guy that they wanted. And I've known from all of my interviews that my experience is not unique. This is echoed throughout every older woman with a younger man, and especially of a certain time period. Now, thankfully, I can say that after 25 years of exposing this to the world, I had prayed that my book would go out of print because it was no longer necessary. And guess what? It's going out of print December 31st of this year. The copyright reverts to me. So older women and younger men, if there's still any left, you may want to get it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it. I was hoping that we'd never need to have this discussion. I was hoping that we would have equity, and I was hoping that it would not be a condemned love model anymore. So the first tier is society will attack you when you are doing something different. And this could be that you are in a same-sex relationship. You could be with somebody of a different nationality, a different religion, a different culture, a different socioeconomic class. And perhaps your family does not approve. Your unique community does not approve. Could be religious, could be color. So it's a lot of different things throughout the years. And this was just kind of the last point. So you've got the external, which is difficult. And the older woman, both take a hit, but it is truly the older woman who takes the greater hit because she is looked at as a calculating, manipulative, cruel, controlling, and emotionally unstable creature, that she is just, malicious in her attempt to abuse this young man's innocence. And, younger men are innocent, but they're not that innocent. And if you ask most younger men, gee, do you mind if I make love to you? They're like, yeah, I'm okay with that. It's not that offensive, right? So that is one thing. She is condemned heartily. And then the secondary thing is that along with her condemnation is the minimization of the younger man, that he is an opportunist. He's there because he has an agenda, because God forbid somebody might actually love each other in this equation. Okay, we have a question. And like I said, I'm going to answer your questions today. Moji, $4.99. Thank you, my dear. We've been dating since 7/20, 20 years and 4 hours apart. He still does not refer to me as his girlfriend. He was just here to visit me. Advice, thanks. Since 7/20. Okay. Okay. What are you bringing to the table when you encounter this person? Like, are you allowing for the opportunity for it to be more in who you are, how you share with him, and how you speak to him? 7/20 isn't too long. You're talking about, it's less than 6 months, right? Maybe about 6 months. So that's not too bad. 20 years difference. Are you creating a space where you are allowing him to move into a richer, fuller place in your life? Right now, it might be compartmentalized as sexual. Doesn't mean it can't grow. Is there a place for it to grow? Have you asked him what his goals are in his romantic life? If you tell me he wants to have kids, well, that's another issue. And I will talk about some of the real issues that we have here. But I would say it sounds like you want more than a visitation. So I would lead. You are the woman. You can lead and give him more to emotionally attach to. Show up more. Do more than just have him come over. Do you guys leave the house? Do you go out to, well, I know it's COVID when I'm saying this, but do you do things together? Can you take a walk in the park, or can you do an activity together? I know most places you can't go to movies, and maybe you can't even eat outdoors or eat in restaurants at this time that I'm recording this, but try to make sure that you extend it beyond the bedroom and include this young man in your life, and include him in your dreams and your goals, and just be really honest and tell him what you value in him. Tell him what you see that's great and beautiful and wonderful, if that is indeed what you want. And I'm happy to answer, any questions if you want to chat me up on Magnify and ask me something specific, because that way I can really address your concerns. And thank you so much for that. By the way, all of you, your money, which I thank you for these super chats, that goes to my movie. So all my movie work that I'm doing. So Monday, this coming Monday, We are having our 3 finalists for the best worst date contest, and you guys are going to vote on it according to the movie that I submit. It'll be out about 12 noon Eastern time. You'll have 24 hours to vote for who is the finalist, and I'm doing a full movie on me working with this person and trying to solve their best worst date experience. So this is where I'm trying to give you more content than Susie the Talking Torso. Okay, let's see. I like when women chance me. I think you mean chase, Louise. I have more control in the relationship. Peggy, my stepmother was married for 40 years to a man 17 years younger. They were great, love. No one hated her or even noticed. Peggy, I don't know where this occurred, but this is so different. So in Older Women, Younger Men, in order to get the publishing contract, the publisher absolutely demanded that I interview over 200 couples. Now, granted, this was late 90s, 99, okay, because the book was published in 2000. And they were terrified. There were couples that had to move. One couple lived in Madeira Island. They had to move. They had to move because of the social structure there. They moved to a finca in Portugal where nobody could find them. Another lady said we needed to find forgiving friends. She lived in New Jersey. Everybody I knew seemed to have somebody who was involved with a much younger man. The plumber that I hired for my house, he said, oh yeah, my aunt is married to a young guy. He's like my age. I'm like, what? So things have changed, and I'm grateful that this was a positive experience. That is absolutely wonderful to read. Let's see, what else do you say? When does a younger man call an older woman his true love? When you know they are your true love. Let me go back and see if there's other great stuff here. Eva's looking forward to this. Van L is looking forward to it from Amsterdam. Let's see. Chris from England, I've had experiences with older women. I'm 29 and they have been late 30s or early 40s. It's always been casual. Unfortunately, I want a girl my age or younger. Okay, so what you're saying is that you've had an agreement to enter a certain kind of partnership. And this is what's wonderful. Like, as long as you guys are in agreement with your partner, whatever design you've got going on, you have an idea of the construct, because it's kind of like the rules when you're about to go into the ocean, like no lifeguard on duty, or wear, protection at all times, for the sun. I mean, you just got to know the lay of the land, and you got to know where to put your head. So you have to know what you're walking into so that you don't needlessly hurt other people. And if this has been agreeable for you, that's great. I'm assuming that you want the option of a family, which is a big discussion because children are the #1 deal breaker. There aren't a lot of deal breakers. You guys, if you've never been in one of these, you are assuming the deal breaker is age, and the deal breaker is not age. The deal breaker is children. So there are 3 types of men, generally speaking, when it comes to older women. Those who must have children. That is their reason for marriage. That's their reason for a partner. Yes, they date a lot of girls. They have fun. But when they're getting serious about getting married, it's because she is going to be the mother of their children. And they choose a woman specifically that is her skill set, and that they can be proud of her and know that their children are taken care of. So having children is the reason for permanent partnership. 2, there are men who don't want children. Now, this was a very difficult conversation pre-2010. I had a lot of guys who would confess to me in private as though they were ashamed of it. And women too, I might add. There's a lot of stigma about people who don't want children. We understand now that it is a choice. It is an a la carte choice. It doesn't mean just because you're born a female, you must have children because you're biologically prepared to do so. And it doesn't mean that just because you're a man, you have to be a father. So the more choice that we have, instead of assuming, well, this is what one does. If you take on a model that this is what one does and you've never thought it through, you may not be good in that model. You may not be happy. Oh, well, at 28, somebody gets married. Well, maybe that's not what you want. At least ask yourself, is this what I want? So they know they want children, and that's Exactly it. And the woman satisfies that. They know they don't want children. They may be afraid to admit it, but they don't want children. Then there's the third kind of guy. He wants a partner. If she wants kids, fine. If she doesn't want kids, fine. His dominant interest is my goal is a partner that I love and spend my life with. And whatever they want, that's cool with me. I'm flexible. So this is how men break down. And for those of you older women who are watching this, you have to know where your young guy stands. I have seen it turn out every single way. Believe me, I've done chapter after chapter and page after page of research on this myself. So you will have couples where the younger man leaves the older woman, says, look, I have to have children. I have to, I'm unhappy. And they go out and they look. And they really love their older woman, but they didn't know how to put her into their life. It didn't make sense. Well, what do I do with her? She can't have kids. I can't really marry her. It's a problem, blah, blah, blah. And then they come back 15 years later, 10 years later, 5 years later, 2 years later, and say, I can't live without you. I can't. I thought I wanted this. I don't want that. There are other guys that I have met and interviewed, very successful. And they did. They got married. They got married. They had the woman. They had the kids. And you know what they tell me in private? She's a good lady. She's a good mom. It's a good family. But every day of my life, I miss that woman because she was my soulmate. And I didn't have the courage to be with her. I fulfilled this for my parents. My mother wanted grandkids. I mean, you know, what did I do? So I've heard it. And then there are those that separate, and that's it. But kids are an issue. And that is something you're going to have to discuss. Okay, so let me go on. Okay, Thomas, I can see. Don't ask me anything too difficult. You are so intense. I love this. Okay, Thomas, where are you here? Oh, my dear. Okay, wait, Mo. Okay, I got that. Where are you, Thomas? Holy cow. Let me see. Thomas, my dear. Hi, how are you? Okay, 4,000. Would you agree that older women, when family, children, finance is out of the picture, usually after a certain age, is more about connection, chemistry, growth, contribution, shared goals, vision, discovery, fun, joy? Yes! Thank you, thank you. Absolutely. So there's a freedom when we fulfilled our duty to society. So if your duty, your underlying sociological message that you're getting from your community, from your family, from the world is that in order to be successful, you have to be married. In order to be desirable, you have to be married and have children. In order to fit in order to conform. Sometimes when you've done that and you satisfied everybody else, that's when you notice people go, now it's about me. Now I get to live my life. Can I tell you how many female friends I have? And they love their kids. They've parted ways with their husband. It was what it was. Great partnership for the family. And then the two grew apart. Now, for the first time, they are truly living the life they want to live. They're deciding. I remember a woman telling me, it was the end of her second divorce. And she told me, I have no idea what music I like. She was an older lady. She was one of the original, if you guys ever saw Leonardo DiCaprio in that movie, they said, Catch Me If You Can, about the Pan Am stewardesses, when the guy is, he's pretending to be a captain because it was such a big deal to fly. She was one of the original Pan Am, which meant international stewardesses. They were like the only people on airplanes at that time. They were sheikhs and you know, princes and moguls in the world of business, and women really rarely flew. And so these girls were the most beautiful. That's when they had to be measured and fit, and you couldn't gain a quarter of an ounce. They were all single. They were nurses as well. I mean, she had married well, divorced, married well, divorced, and kind of shook herself off and went, wait, what did I do? I did everything right for everybody else. Now it's about me. And she met the love of her life at age 53. He was the same age, but it's just an interesting story because, you know, these were the women that were everything to everybody. So that's just really fun little story there. Okay, let's see. I'm going to read some of these. Okay, LK, right. Don't miss out on your soulmate and twin flame. I'm 34, dating 49. all have issues. It is how you work through them. Absolutely love this, LK. This is some people marry who should have been temporary and leave who was meant to be. Okay. Yeah, but now they don't have to die alone. Well, I could understand you saying somebody's donating 4 pounds. I don't know what that means. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so younger men's priority is work. Older women priority marriage and family. Difficult to make it work. Not necessarily. That's kind of an oversimplification. I think nowadays, both younger men and younger women have been raised to be successful. I think we're kind of past the time period that women sit back in almost all parts of the world, that women can sit back and just wait for their Prince Charming to take care of them. Older women now have broken through the glass ceiling and have had an established career. So a younger man who's working on his way up might find more conversational quality with a woman that's had time around the block. So this is really, you've got two people that are meeting because they resonate with each other. Remember, everyone, when what you've got looks different than the world would have you have, there's good cause for you being there. We don't voluntarily walk into conflict. We don't voluntarily go, oh, this is a contentious relationship. Think I'm going to enter it just for the fun of it. Nobody wants that kind of controversy. Nobody wants to be schooled by their friends as to why they shouldn't be with this person. And when you enter a love model that doesn't look universally endorsed, like, oh, ding, 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 you got the cream of the crop. Ding, ding, ding. That's when you really decide that you are there for the right reasons. And so whether it is that you come from a different background or that you are fighting some other thing, older women, younger men is just one variant of this design. But a love model that is resonant-based means that you are consciously defying what society says is appropriate because you are going on an inner code of what you think is correct for you. So you're walking into a battle. So this is the external battle. Then there's the internal battle. And as a woman, I can tell you about this. The internal battle means that every day you are fighting the mantle that is so heavy for all of us about youth and beauty. I mean, in Western culture, you can't age. You can't be old. You can't be ugly, and old is ugly. And once you hit the wall, as all those guys say, you're worthless. So the reason I think that I had so much press and still get so much, I get about 300 interviews, unsolicited, TV and journalists a year. I don't do anything for this. And I think the thing is that from day one, I came out of the box with a platform that was very specific. You may think this is about older women and younger men. And ladies, I'd really like to hear your commentary on this. This is more a question of a woman's worth. You see, if we really, really thought women had value beyond youth and beauty, this would be a moot point. We'd never be talking about it. As long as we hold women's value only at their youth and beauty, then we rail at anything that defies that design. So you see what I'm saying? Younger men are just one example of women who are reaching the understanding worldwide that we have value beyond our age, that perhaps as humans, we have value beyond our looks. Imagine if men became worthless at 35 because they got some wrinkles or gray hair, or they had a little tummy because they were busy working to support their family. And we discarded them, minimized them, and relegated them to, we don't want you. Just go over there in the corner. Now we don't see you. We don't acknowledge you. You are worthless to us. So women have carried this interior burden our whole life. And anybody who was of the 80s, if there are any of you of this age watching, you know what I'm talking about, breaking the glass ceiling. Those of us in business could not be feminine. That was very confusing. The only way we could be successful was to bury our femininity and have a hard male, like we were impersonating males in order to even be allowed into the room with the males. Now we have a reburgeoning of an integration of who we are, feminine and masculine energy, to enter the world as a human being, as a complete human being who happens to be female, but we can participate in every front. We can participate in politics. We can be CEOs. We can rule countries. We can do all these things, have companies and countries that we manage, and that we can be looked at beyond being youthful and beautiful, because these are transient things. So this battle is something that every older woman with a younger man fights continually, because what she is seeing is always, she looks at this young man next to her and realizes the disparity. So I had the same Pan Am stewardess that said she didn't even know what music she liked. So that was the point of that story. She had been so dictated to by men and accommodating to them that as she awakened into her ownness of who she was, she didn't even know what kind of music she liked, because her job had been to take care of a man and abdicate to all of his desires and needs. And I remember the day she was walking around in her room saying, I didn't know I liked classical music. I do. And it was a beautiful discovery of her coming into her own. So those of us who've had to walk through this are oftentimes criticized by our best friends. And it was this lady who said to me, I think you have low self-esteem. That's why you're with him. And I thought to her, wow, you got no idea how much self-esteem I have to have and how much I have to gear myself up to walk out of the door into a world that absolutely hates me in this little community, because I'm with him. Every day that I look at this young man, I have to measure myself against the way the world is looking at me, not the truth of who I am or what I have with him, but how they prefer to see me, which is not in a positive light. And you have to have so much more fortitude for imperfection and for the lack of beauty and for an understanding of your own aging process. It's a head trip, I got to tell you. So let me get back to your questions. I want to make sure that I'm getting everyone in here. Magia y Alquimia. I'm so sorry if I bastardized your name. Thank you so much, Susan. You are amazing. I have the doubt on how to bring the news that we are dating to our families. Okay, so this is difficult. I remember my first time having to present my partner. So we did it at Thanksgiving. And we cooked a meal for his parents. And I had a talk with the mom. And the mom took me aside. And basically, she was worried. She said, he's a loving, sweet young man. And I mean, he was in his 20s. And she said, I just got to know, what are you here to do? And some of you may have heard this story before, but it's what I call the talk. And I wrote about it in the book as the talk. Any mom, I don't think the dad is going to bother you. That's really rare. It's normally the mom, his mom. And maybe if he's got a sister, his older sister, especially if she kind of semi-raised him. And they will want to know your intention because they are sure that you're up to something, like you're going to use him and abuse him. And I said to her, I want you to look at this and see if your son is happier. And if you see him having more confidence and more self-esteem, and if so, I'm doing a good job. And if you think that your son is unhappy or being led down a negative path, you come to me and I will leave because I am so confident of what I'm doing here. I said, I can't guarantee you I'm going to stay forever. Nobody knows that. And I would lie to you. I don't know whether it's going to be 20 years or 2 years. But I love your son and I'm here for good things, not bad things. I promise you. And she kind of pulled back and she looked at me and she said, I can appreciate that. And they watched us and we were giggling because I'm not a cook and neither is he. And we thought they were rather brave to eat the turkey to begin with. And she saw us working as a team. And when we left, she gave me a big hug and she said, you're fantastic. And she said, we are very lucky. And I had a loving, wonderful relationship with that family. Years later, that relationship ended. And years later, my next younger man, wow, completely different story. The mother decided from day one to hate me, and it was never any better. So it can be very painful. It can be, but your partner has to be with you, because if your partner leaves you to suffer on your own and his family's tearing you apart, that's a horrible situation. So I hope that helps you. Mom Gangly, is it so difficult for young guys to accept the fact that they can love a woman much older than them? Are they so socially conditioned that even though they are in love, they do not want to accept it and live in denial? Some people, yeah, some people really have a hard time admitting, I mean, independent of older women, younger men. There are people, how many people out of you that are watching today are in some kind of situationship? And we've talked about this. Maybe you're one of my clients, and you know and I know that they really care about you, and they're having a hard time admitting it to themselves. So there is an added pressure whenever the love model is not generally endorsed and applauded. Oh, you did a good job. You married a CEO. Oh, she's a fashion model. Yay, good for you. Oh, she graduated top of her class and works at Goldman Sachs. You nailed it. This is perfect. So sometimes this is what happens. Okay, so we have, and continue, if you have any questions, don't be afraid, just chat them up. Let's see, I've read some of these. Don't know, my ex-girlfriend, hang on here. Christina B. Hi, Susan. How do you access the compatibility with younger men? At different stages, life stages, you have different goals. True. Achievements, financial stability, dreams. Seems there's nothing in common. Absolutely. Here's the thing. This is not my recommendation. I'm not suggesting people start with age-varied relationships. This happens to you. You don't go looking for it. And if it doesn't resonate for you, it doesn't resonate for you. Please don't think that, you know, I'm not an advocate for this. It works for me because the way I think is not in alignment with the people my age. I don't even really have friends my age. Most every friend I've got is at least 10 to 12 years younger. It just works out that way. But generationally, I think more progressively like a younger person. So I can talk to somebody in their 20s or 30s and get on perfectly. We come from the same point of view. And oftentimes when I talk to people my age, I mean, they're ancient. I'm ancient. So they're like really rigid in their thoughts and very traditional. Not all people, but a lot of them. And so if this doesn't work for you, that's fine. Just, you can take this information that I'm saying today. And so if you are somebody and this is not a thing, you've never wanted to date a younger man, you're a younger guy, never been interested in an older woman, that's fine. Ignore that part of it and listen to the underpinnings of a relationship that is not socially sanctioned, a relationship that looks a little bit different, a relationship that, you may have to explain to some people. I work with the transgender community. That is a relationship that needs explaining to the people in it sometimes. I work with a lot of different types of people. I take phone calls. I don't have a screener. When I answer the phone or I get on Skype with you, I got no idea what's on the other end. I like it that way. I really do. I'm not worried about protecting myself. So this doesn't have to be a thing for you. I would never advocate only marriage, that's the only way. Only younger men, that's the only way. I can promise you, you do not go looking for this stuff. It happens to you. But for some of you ladies that are of a certain age that are dating and that are newly single, or you just left a partnership and you're online and you're dating, and the guys your age and older, they're passing you by. And because they can, they got a checklist. Oh yeah, you're 52. Easily you can date a 35-year-old. That's cool. Everybody allows that. You try and do it, right? So if you're finding that the guys your age are passing you by, and you're looking at the guys your age and going, ugh, You guys didn't take care of yourself. What did you do? And they don't want you and you don't want them. Best thing I can suggest is lower the filter on your age. You might find a whole generation or two of men who do appreciate you and would love to be with you. So now I want to talk about why a younger man would find an older woman interesting. So for those of you younger men that are watching today, I want you to contribute as well. But after all the research that I did, my life research and all the research for the book and all the research after that point, I have found 3 dominant factors that younger men have told me repeatedly over and over again. They said it like a mantra. The advantage to an older woman is that 1, she knows what she wants. 2, she doesn't play games. And 3, she is clear and communicative in what she wants and how she needs to be treated. So for guys, a lot of times, clarity in the relationship is a beautiful thing. Men are wonderful. Ladies, they just have to know, what do you want? What do you want? Men are these wonderful creatures that as a whole are heroes, looking to be a hero of some story. Their own story, your story, their neighbor's story, their country's story. And all they need to know is, what do you need and how can I help you? And they need to be appreciated for that fact. So when a woman can be clear and say, I like this, I like that, I like this, he can go, okay, I like that, and that too. I'm not crazy about that, but I can get along with these other couple things. That's cool. Another thing that younger men like, and they have told me this over and over again, that I agree that I attract a certain type of audience with all of you. I know that you are far more intellectual than most. I know that you are deeper than most because I don't alter my words for mass market. I'm not interested in that group. Okay, I'm not doing silly videos. I'm trying to do things that have some depth and clarity. So when I do these with you, I don't talk down to you. I don't talk down to younger men. And so the information that I keep getting over and over is that the younger men that are attracted to an older woman love the emotional content and clarity. They love the fact that she can feel and that she has access to her feelings and that, she's not afraid. She's not whimsical in her love. She's clear and direct and honest. And the elimination of games is really such a relief to most men. They're a relief to everybody when we don't have to play games. But imagine if we all met a person who told us exactly what it was from day one. I mean, wouldn't that be amazing? So this is how I work. This is how I'm going to do. This is what I'd like. What do you think about that? How do you feel? What do you like? What do you want? And then we start to compare notes. So that's a wonderful thing. It's the emotional content. Now, I don't want to keep chatting away. I've talked about this. I want to talk about power, and I want to talk about some of the fears that women have. But let me look here and see if there are more. Ayush, do older women like emotionally intelligent men or sexually attractive men or rich men? According to me, where did you go? According to me, where did you go? Okay, according to me, older women, I think, who is 4 to 5 years older than me, and my age is 20. Different people have different reasons for dating. For some people in the world, independent of age, independent of gender, the purpose of dating is to secure a foothold in society. It's strategic. Society, a lifestyle, money, and those people are those people. And they come in all different ages and they come in all different, trappings. So there's no one blanket statement. The one thing that is good about being an older woman and having had some 20 or 30 years to run at our business is that an older woman who has a little money underneath her, who has success, who has her own, now for the first time in her life, if her children are grown and she's past that, can make decisions like my friend figuring out who she was in the world and what she wanted for the first time. A woman has a broader choice of man because you're not required to fit into the traditional mold of taking care of her. You can be her partner, and what you make is irrelevant. It's cool if you make money, but it doesn't have to be that way because your job requirement in the relationship is not that of provider. Are there older women who want you to be a provider? Absolutely. It doesn't matter. So they would not be somebody interested in the younger men. They wouldn't. If women were looking for money and a man to take care of them, they're going to look for an older man who's had more time for traction. But see, this is the one freedom I don't understand. I see these women on the Upper East Side. They got divorced. They've got their husbands run these companies that everybody knows the name. And they end up with hundreds of millions of dollars. And they're afraid to date the guy that they really want because he's young and he's the trainer and what will people say? And every once in a while, you have one of these ladies who goes, you know what? I'm doing it anyway. And they marry them and they love them. But the whole world is like, oh, I don't know, something's wrong. Oh, she's using her, she's using him. But most of them don't have the courage to do it because they worry what their friends will say. So this sociological damper is with everybody. How many times do we edit ourselves at all because of what will people think? So let me make sure that I can see this. Thomas, I think this is you. Okay. Thomas, thank you, my dear. 2000. When younger men have other priorities as well, getting stronger financially, having his own career and passion to take on, therefore pushing hard to balance it out to meet each other's needs. Okay, that's a very good point. That's a very good point about being a young man running in tandem with a same-aged partner because you're both trying to achieve for the relationship. And I understand that's tough where she can't be a priority. So this is indicative of those relationships. And you guys are going to know exactly what I talk about because if it's not you, it's three of your friends. You have a couple, you went to their wedding, they got married. Oh my God, they look so perfect together. He's got a great job. She's a great girl. Oh my God, they're going to be great. They have a couple kids. By year 7, 8, 12, she's bored to death. And then she says to him, you didn't spend time with us. We're not a priority. And he's like, wait, you told me to go to work and make money. I went to work and made money for all of you. That's my contribution. So in a way, we did the 5 love languages. He's doing his love language is providing for the family. That acts of service. I gave you what I thought a man is supposed to do. Now I'm being blamed that I didn't spend private time with you and personal time and quality time. I couldn't do both. So this is a stressor on couples that are growing up at the same time. But Thomas, here's another part of it. It's also cohesive. It can be a deterrent to their unity, or it can be a cohesive factor in that when you are building a relationship with your partner, you're holding hands and the two of you together are going toward that goal. So yes, do some of your individual needs in that relationship get put aside while you're running to the higher goal of paying your mortgage and creating a life for your family? Absolutely. Some of that, goes to the wayside, but you've got your partner and this is your teammate, the one that you picked to run with you. And so that is a very, very strong bond and alliance. So that's my answer to that. And thank you so much for your generosity. I'm going to keep reading here. If anybody else, let's see, what else do we have? That's so sweet. Thank you, Susan. I can't date her if she's older than my mom, to be real. Romeo, you weren't named Romeo by yourself for nothing. Everyone. Date the people you want to date. So let's take a bigger cut on this. I'm talking about older women, younger men, because people want to hear about it. People keep saying to me, why aren't you going to talk about older women, younger men? You don't do those videos anymore. Let's look at it as an independent choice that you make to date the person you want may not look like what the world wants you to have. So if you find yourself in that kind of situation where you are standing up for your love and you have to defend your love to the world, then you're going to need to listen to some of this commentary. You don't think this applies to you? Don't date anybody you don't want to date. Please, I want everybody to be exceedingly clear on my message. What works for me doesn't have to work for you. But the overarching principle is that we need to be in truth to ourselves. Could my life have been 1,000 times easier and I be accepted by my society, my little society in New Jersey? Yes. Was I willing to give up my boyfriend to be socially accepted and relieve myself from daily pressure, hatred, victimization, character defamation, lies, gossip, horrific treatment, not being served in a grocery store because they thought I was a witch and they would leave the counter, having a petition of over 100 people try to take my television show off the air because I'm an endangerment to the community? I was doing a show on a spiritual awakening called Higher Ground. Yeah, the distributors got a petition, 100 of my neighbors, all thanks to my boyfriend's mother, who wouldn't have it. Karma is beautiful. She's had to watch me for the last 25 years do nothing but exceed in my profession. Can't open up a magazine, can't turn on the TV and not see me. Thank you. But being true to yourself can cost you. This is all we're talking about, how that costs you. So if you find you love someone and you're in a Romeo-Juliet situation, Romeo, you're complaining about this? Don't date somebody your mother's age you don't want to. But what if you dated somebody mommy didn't love, mommy didn't like and didn't agree with, and you were the Romeo and she was the Juliet? Now you got a problem. So now you got to dig deep and figure out, where do you amend your life to appease them? And where do you fight for your truth? Because that's all we're talking about here. Okay? Ready for more of your questions? Let's see. Okay, Mark, there were 6 years between us, 21 and 27. We split up after 4 months. I moved on and we worked well together, but I wouldn't object to another chance. Can I reasonably reach out? It's been a year. Mark, yes. Absolutely. I know a year has been a long time, but I urge you, here, I do it in 2 ways. If you're going to reach out to somebody, I don't know the story, but I would imagine if you feel something this significant after a year, she did too, because you're not going to get there in a vacuum. Reach out and thank her. Open your communication by thanking her, telling her that as you look at the history of your relationships, you have tremendous gratitude for what you have experienced with her. And if she would be open to talking to you or getting together for a coffee or having a chat, you would love that. And I think that's a gracious opening. And then figure out if you want to re-examine that again. I think this is beautiful. 21, you were pretty young. You know, I understand there was so much coming at you and you didn't know what kind of decisions to make. And that's not a point that you want to settle down or even maybe even have a steady girlfriend. But I think if you do it with some class and dignity like that, it'll serve you well. Thank you for that comment. I love older women, and that's from Jennifer. Cool. That's fantastic. Because true love hurts like nothing else you can imagine. Lal, brilliant. Fatima, thank you so much. I'd love to date an older woman like you. Okay. So some of you are talking to each other. Let's see. This is great. Let's see. I'm going to hide some of these people. Some people are not nice on here. And if you see something, please let me know. Okay, let's see. Scroll up, reading every comment underneath mine. I sent something. I can't always find these. Let's see. Squared index. I've been seeing a woman that's 32. I'm 26. We have an amazing connection, but she seems hung up on the age difference when it comes to a long-term relationship, regardless of my individual maturity. I am so, yes. For you fellows who love, like, or want to explore a woman who is older, this is what I talk to when I refer to her interior struggle. She is fighting against all of society. She's fighting against her insecurities. She's fighting against her physical imperfections. I guarantee you, if you could zip us up and put us in a Barbie outfit, for 24 hours, we probably have no problem. But very few of us look like that. And so you've got that, and you've got society, and you've got what her family thinks. She is stopping herself. I would love to tell you that you can logically talk her into this, but I don't know that you can. I would ask her to take a look at my videos on older women and younger men, because the number one hurdle that an older woman has to overcome is that she does deserve your love. Remember, we've had this removed from our template of understanding. Do you know how horrible that is to have that amputated from your options? That I am obviously worthless, that why would he want me? I don't dare be with him. It hangs over every older woman's head. Can I tell you, if I had $1 for every woman who wrote or said, Susan, it's good now, but what happens a year from now? What happens when he sees that I'm older? What happens 10 years from now? What am I doing? What am I doing? He's going to see my age and leave me. I mean, like, who lives with that kind of mental terror? Is that fair to do to any human being? That's like saying to your puppy, you can never not be a puppy, because by the time you're age 5, we throw you out on the street because we don't want an adult older dog. You know, it's like saying to your parents, no, when you're 60, we're going to throw you off the edge of a cliff. You know, we don't want you. So women have this hanging over our heads. So, you know, for her to get up to speed, to knowing her truth and discovering her worth and fighting against all of what society has told her is a very big deal. You could please tell her to talk to me, tell her to read some of my material. You guys go to susanwinter.net. There's a whole section under articles that opens up. It says older women, younger men. There are like 17 categories, and each one opens up to 5 sets of different articles. And there's a lot of information there. So that's how we have to fight through things. Let's see. Let's see what Jenny A. Where I live, age is minutely scrutinized by society. It's like a taboo for a young, for a young guy to marry, date an older woman. Wow. Sometimes I worry if I'll find a young child-free guy and where to find them. Okay, so this is another thing. There are lots of women who would prefer, if they don't have children, that their partner doesn't have children either. That's not exactly the lifestyle they want. So a younger man would make sense if he falls into the category of guys who either want what you want, because primary partner is their number one concern, or they don't want children. So I understand this. And the fact that you live in a society that disallows this socially is unfortunate. It is changing. Sometimes you have to be the first one to do it, but it's uncomfortable. I know that from firsthand experience. Okay, Ben, Minneapolis. Hello. Hiya. Happy Thanksgiving there. Flip side, older men, younger women. Can the guy ever really trust that the love is real? Or does this go to individuals generally trusting that love is real? Both. Brilliant question. I think I've told you guys stories about older men that are very, very wealthy that have taken me aside, and they've got some young girl who loves them. And they're saying, how do I know she loves me? I mean, she's seen my estate home. She has an idea of what I run. She's like, loves the lifestyle. I've got a home in Newport. I've got an apartment in Sutton Place. I mean, what's not to like, right? How do I know she loves me for me? Time will tell. And it is part of the package. So when you have assets, whether you are male or female, whether you are younger, same-aged, or older, when you have access to a lifestyle that people want, whether you have resources, maybe you're the rich kid that travels with the helicopter. So last summer I was out, I was flown out by this private helicopter to the Hamptons, okay? And this kid was on board, and it was his plane. And the girl who was his friend, because she friend-zoned him, didn't want him, but was clinging onto him and keeping all the other girls away. And she was a clear, straight-up opportunist. But he was the kind of kid that was kind of shy and, you know, a little insecure. So this was his playmate. And he could always count on her being there because she always wanted something. Ben, we will all get fooled at some point in our life, no matter how clever and no matter how guarded. But love and relationships are something that require courage, bravery, and resilience. So we have to get in and dive in to begin with. And we have to see. You have to move forward to trust. And if you get a lot of consistent red flags that they only want you for your money, if you're an older guy dating a much younger girl, let me be real. Yes, it's part of the package of perks. Maybe you don't have a 12-pack or an 8-pack or a 6-pack or a 4-pack. Maybe you have a tummy, but you've got a healthy bank account. Those are the chips you bring to the table. It's not bad. It's not wrong. It's a different valuation system. The question is, will she care for you if you didn't have that? Because that's what we really want. We want somebody who will love us as we age. We want somebody who will love us when maybe we have a downturn. That's what love is, right? So I wish you well. There's a beautiful comment. Thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you so much. $10. I really, really appreciate that. It's all going to the movie you guys are going to see Monday. Tune in. If you don't have your notification bell set, please set it, because that's a lot of fun. That means you know when I have something coming up, and I'm going to be showing you the movie where you get to vote for the finalist for Best Worst Date. Okay, thank you, Ben. Okay, $5. Mystic Manifestation. Thank you so much. Okay, my 45-year-old lady friend believes all younger men just want sex. She's been married once and will not date if it won't end up in partnership or marriage. Okay, so she has a big rule that keeps her, so men are shuttled into the chute of marriage and partnership. She is terrified that younger men only want sex. Young guys want sex. Older guys want sex. Men want sex. Guess what? Women want sex too. So a lot of young guys are hormonally far more interested in sex. But if this is her comfort level, we have to let her go with her comfort level. She is unable to be resilient. Believe it or not, she's trying to exclude them because she doesn't trust herself enough. I'm not slamming her. What I'm saying is she has made a blanket policy to protect herself. So she starts from the very beginning excluding an entire group that might have an ulterior motive and not be there for the real thing. So this makes her feel safe. Let her just do it. I mean, what are you going to do? You can't really change her mind. This is her comfort level. It would be really interesting, though, if the guy for her was actually a little bit younger and he was the nicest guy and he just wanted her for herself and all she was doing was ignoring him. I mean, that'd be a nice wake-up call. Thank you so much for that. I really, really appreciate that. Okay, Mona C., 5 pounds. Hello, dear. How are you doing? Dear Susan, this topic is not directly related to me, but I find it as important as other discussions. I listen to your videos 24/7. Adore you. Mwah! Thank you so much. This is about being authentic and fighting for what we think is right in love. It might not be this. What I'm telling you to do is exactly the same formula. I'm telling you that you have to find the fortitude within yourself. You have to find the reasons for a resiliency to fight this society that tells you that this caste that you're with is improper, this religion that you're with is improper, the color of the partner that you're with is improper, the age, the religion, whatever they've got going on, that you can't be with them because it doesn't look good and it upsets us. And remember, in a lot of the world still, although we're trying desperately to move into a time of inclusion, to much of the world, difference is bad. Different is automatically bad. So I appreciate that, Mona. Thank you so much. Okay, 4 arrows. Hi. Okay, 10. Thank you so much. Are you saying that it's okay for a dumpy to reach out to a dumper after 1 year? I didn't know who dumped whom. Let me continue reading. I was answering with a breakup, and it sounded like they both loved each other. I still miss her and love her after 1 year and no contact, but she ended it because we argued too often. I've been hurt all year. Okay. So I think you have more work to do inside yourself, and I thank you for your contribution. You didn't move on over the last year, and I need to know it's not effective for you. I got no problem with you reaching out. But if you're going to reach out, let's position you in a way such that you will be accepted as new material, meaning, why did you guys argue all the time? What was happening there? You were dumped. Were you insecure? Was she being unloving? Was she dating other guys? Was she being hot and cold? If so, if that was the reason, I suggest you don't contact her. If you argued a lot because you were both young and you didn't know what you wanted and things just got heated and you couldn't find conflict resolution, and you really think you're at the other side of it now, then just to ease your own mind and like, I tried one last time, go ahead and contact her. But if you are the same person that that person dumped a year ago and you haven't moved on too much, you can contact them, but you'll just be kicked in the face because they didn't want you before. And if you haven't changed, they certainly don't want you now because they left something they didn't want. So this is why I keep asking all you guys to transform and to move forward in life and become a different version of yourselves so that if and when you have a second encounter, you look, smell, seem different, you radiate differently. That way they can feel like, oh, is there something I missed? Oh, look at what happened to him. He's a different person. Oh, he's not so argumentative. He's not so insecure. Oh my goodness. Oh, he gives me a little slap back. Oh, he's got a little more confidence. This is exciting. So that's how I would determine that. Okay. Thank you so much for your contribution. Let's see, what else do we have here? We have Ben in Minneapolis. Let's see. Romeo, I love how much love you give your significant other is based off of how much he has or spends on you. Okay, wait. If how much love you give your significant other is based off of how much he has or spends on you, then it's bad, but I understand everybody has standards. That's kind of an antiquated formula. We don't really work with it that much, at least on this channel. That is, a strategic relationship. That's a barter relationship. And it's like, I give you this, if you give me that. Oh, that's my filter. I try and put some yellow gels on here to make it warmer. So yeah, I don't think that's right. I mean, love needs to be reciprocal. I'm never saying that you should love somebody and stay invested if they're not invested in you. But if the only reason you are receiving feelings of love, it's not love, but you're getting like appreciation or commendation, or that they continue to see you, is that you're spending money on them and buying them presents. There's like, they might as well be a sugar baby. What are you doing there? I mean, that's transactional, and this is not love. This is not a reason to love. Okay, that's not what we're talking about. Okay, guys, let's see. I'm here to answer more of your questions. Debbie, Susan, thank you for all the information and what situations you have encountered yourself. Thank you. Okay, Reese, I did an age gap. I was 28 and she was 56. Loved it. Good. So let's talk about longevity. Some of these relationships are not going to last forever. And to be honest, some of the same aged relationships that you've had did not last forever either. So I think it's incumbent upon all of us to look at each relationship that we enter, and the best we can do is to show up and be present and try to bring all of our skills forward and merge with this person and give them the best shot and try to create the greatest context for whatever is going on. Okay. So I ask people to honor even the smallest, most insignificant relationships, because, the thing that I deal with people is that they all want to think that they can get by in a superficial, sexual relationship and just get in and get out unscathed. And almost all the women that I work with, and a huge number of men, tell me that they thought they could do something easily and it would be casual and it would be fun, and they caught feelings. But the truth is, you all have feelings within you to begin with. And when you enter the most intimate act you could have with another human being, it is going to activate those feelings. So if you think that you can get in and do insignificant and casual all the time, good luck, because you are fighting against your very disposition. We were born loving. We were born desiring to love. So even age-varied relationships, if you're a young guy watching this and you're just like, okay, I want to try this, and I want to try this, and I want to try this. If it's on your list, you might find that it was far more meaningful than you ever imagined. You were there just for fun and like, hey, I did it. My friends did it. It's kind of a thing. We're going to do it. It's a fad. And then you thought, wow, I kind of like this lady. I don't know where to put her. I don't know what to do with this thing that doesn't fit the rest of my life plan. This is where it gets interesting. This is sometimes where your life plan, as you thought you should have it, goes in another direction. You could end up in my profession. And here we have Nika. Yes, Nika. Don't knock over the lamps, honey. Nika, the wonder dog, thank you. She's coming back. She had a 2-hour walk to keep her busy and happy. Let me see if I have more questions from you guys. I'm sure there'll be more people on the replay. Terry, Susan, you are so fabulous. Your advice has helped so much, and I appreciate what you do for everyone. Terry, thank you, thank you. Let's see. Never short of young men. So what's your point? I don't know. You guys are having a conversation here. Jack B. Susan, she's 50. I'm near 2 decades younger. She's beautiful. I love her, and I don't want kids, but I worry if attraction will remain 10 to 20 years in the future. Jack, you got every right to worry about that. She's going to go through menopause. She's going to have some hormonal changes. It might not last. And this is a reality. But you might find somebody your decade. So let's see, you're 30. You might find this really hot 32-year-old girl. Can you tell me that you know conclusively in 10 years you're going to be attracted to her? You don't. This is something the two of you have to discuss. You're not sure about the runway that you're dealing with. Every day you question, you say, do I want another day with this woman? Do I want another day? In your case, don't get married. Continue to see her. You have a lot more options, but show up and enjoy what you have. None of us knows what is going to happen in a relationship. Trust me. Women going down the aisle with an older man who think they got a lot because they're the beautiful young thing and they think they're safe and never going to be divorced, good luck. Nobody gets a guarantee in love. Nobody. You don't know how long they're going to stick around. You don't know how long they're going to live. You don't know how long you're going to stay together. None of that. You don't know how you're going to change. You don't know how they're going to change. So none of us knows that. Okay? If you're looking for solid answers, listen, if you don't have a tolerance for risk, and you don't want to enter something that might end, then don't. But it sounds like you like her. Just go with it. If she's going to go with it, go with it. This is where you start agreements. This is where you do love a la carte. Okay, so we have this. Sammy, 5 pounds. Thank you, Sammy. Hi, Susan. I left the guy I was dating for 8 months, have the space he wanted for 3 weeks, has gone back on Facebook. Second night, he's in a relationship. So hurt at the moment. Okay, so you gave him the space he wanted. This is off topic because this is not older women, younger men. I'm fine answering that. That's fine. You have to keep moving, honey. Okay? That's just what has to happen. I'm sorry about that. But people show you who they are. Oftentimes in relationships, when people leave us, they left a long time earlier. It just took them physically longer to pull the trigger. And the fact that he's involved with somebody else so immediately is a shock to you. But you probably, if you're honest with yourself, felt things pulling back. So he was on his way out of the door. I want to make sure thank you so much for that, Sammy. I'm sorry that you're hurt, okay? Dupham, how you doing? AKA Measured Twice, $10. I enjoy your insight, Susan. Please consider appointing some moderators for the streams. There are several nasty trolls that are distracting and derailing the discussion. Thank you, God. Okay, yes, okay. I am sorry about that. I want to hide some of these people. All you have to do is you two, I think, can write these things out. I can't always get moderators in here because, to be honest with you, it's just too much for me to find somebody that's going to be around to do all this. But I can kind of guess that this kind of this is kind of a forum where people like that show up. So I'm sorry that they are making your time uncomfortable here. Okay, so let's see. Okay. Let's see, what do we have here? Are there any more questions, you guys? Thank you so much for that, my dear. Okay, here's one. Susan question. Anna, I realized my 5 love language of love is gifts after your last week's show. Okay, that's great. I equate love to how much money my boyfriend spends on me. Okay, I feel superficial like a gold digger. What do I do? Okay. Where did you learn that, and why is that your only love language? Can we look for a love language that's a little bit less contentious, and could your experiences be less monetary and more experiential? So with me, I've always enjoyed giving people experiential gifts, meaning time together, a unique date or experience that's crafted for their pleasure, for our pleasure. Maybe a trip together. It's still spending money, but you get to interact. Something different like skydiving or skeet shooting or a hike or, you know, a walk around the park or a picnic or something that you experience. So that is also a gift. And you might think that that falls into the time together, personal time, private time, quality time. What is another thing on your list? Because there's also acts of service. And a gift giving is in a way of act of service because they're trying to do something for you that makes you happy. It is a service of sorts. Do you like words of affirmation? Do you like quality time? Okay, so what other things mean things to you? Okay, this is very important. Physical touch. Is that important for you to have closeness, physical intimacy and closeness? So look for your secondary thing because it's not just one level. And also someplace along the line, somebody taught you that the only tangible validation is something you can see and feel and touch, like a charm bracelet or a diamond ring. And that's very antiquated thinking, okay? So I'm glad that you know that you are so much more than that. And I'm glad that you know that your reason for wanting that is not superficial. So try, when you explain this to your partner, to explain, look, I know it looks bad. I'm aware of that. But my secondary love language is this, you know? So figure out what that one is and give them examples of that. And I thank you for that. That's really a great idea. Okay. I'm 44 years old living by myself, and he's 24 years old living with his parents. We just broke up because his parents are way dependent upon him. I wanted to spend more time with him, but he couldn't. Okay, so Lily, he's probably responsible financially for his family for whatever reason. Like maybe it's a single mom, or the dad's disabled, or his contribution as a son is that he has to pull in money. And I understand that. At least it's plausible. I mean, it's not like he's like, oh, gee, you look really old. I can't spend time with you. I mean, his thing is, look, I can't physically give you the time you want so that you feel valued in this relationship because my primary job, my number one duty is to my family. You're a choice. They are my obligation. They are my family. So I need to do this first. I'm sorry. I know that stings, but that's the way it is. Okay. Huff, here we are again. Hi. Okay, just a note. I believe you, Susan, are a fortune teller prophet. Do you remember my ex's relationship would fizzle out around Thanksgiving? They broke up a week ago. Yeah. Thank you for this. So sometimes I say things off the cuff, and I don't know where they come from. It's just like, oh, well, you're going to be in another relationship by spring. Just forget all about that. And then the person calls me back and goes, oh, my God, I met them April 3rd. I can't believe you said this. And I don't know where that comes from. We're all intuitive. We are all intuitive. It's just, honey, your ex has a problem with getting along with men. So it has nothing to do with you. This is even the best person, like, I'm with this person now. They're giving me everything I didn't get from you. It's like, here we go. So thank you for that. And congratulations to you. I know the tremendous work you have done on yourself. And so forgive me, all of you that are watching this. Sometimes I have a client that I know that's identified. And so I'm just so proud of the tremendous work that my clients have done within themselves. The changes are within, folks. A lot of times we can do little things on the outside and they are helpful, yes, but the real change happens on the inside. And this man has worked very hard to get to where he is, and I am so proud of you. Okay, let's see. What is a good way to flirt or signal interest with younger men at the gym, for example? Hi, Bobby B. Okay, so I used to walk up and say hello and introduce myself. I know nobody introduces themselves. I mean, I didn't know what to do. I'm not saying I'm not good at this. I'm not good at dating. I'm not good at flirting. I had to find, well, start with what's comfortable for you. A lot of women I know, the number one key is the hi. I've always felt that that was like so ridiculous. And two, I always felt that for me, if I look at a man or I kind of do like this with my eyes, like, what am I promising him? I don't know that I can fulfill that. I won't know until I talk to him because I need this. Like, no matter how cute, if you don't have this and I can't meet you here and we can't meet and this isn't the playground, this and this, then I can't, there's nothing going on. So I would walk up and I would start some little chit chat or get near a machine near them and just say, oh, hi, I see you here all the time. Well, you look really fit. Are you a trainer? No. Well, are you in school? Blah, 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 blah. I'm Susan. Hi, nice to meet you. In the day where we could talk and shake hands. Yeah, and I used to say, yeah, and so I'd literally introduce myself and give them my name and chat a bit, and then I'd leave. So that next time I would build on the conversation. And the reason I love the gym is it was so easy. It's a recurring location, whether it's a dance, that you're in a dance club, or that you're in some kind of a hobby together, that you all run together. The fact that you can keep seeing this person in a social environment and now you know each other's names, that cuts through a lot of things so you can continue the conversation. Then I have a girlfriend that all she does is stare and flirt, and she does just as well. So whatever works for you. Let's see. What do we have? A guy I dated older told me that he doesn't believe that emotions are real. Is that a red flag? He told me that it is from his experience. Well, he's had a kind of a bad experience. And the fact that you're asking this question shows me that it is not in harmony with who you are. To you, emotions must be real. Out of all that you remember from that date, this is the red flag. So yes, it is a red flag. If emotions aren't real, then you are dealing with a person that disregards emotions. So they've kind of given you that shorthand for, I don't want to feel, I don't trust feelings. I don't trust my feelings, so I'm not going to have them, and I don't trust you having feelings. Nowhere to go. Where are you going to go with that? I would move on. Let's see, what else do we have here? Advice needed, Susan, Wine Love. Can you do the next video on retroactive jealousy? Interesting. I'm 30 and my boyfriend is my first. He had so many girlfriends before me. I am jealous of all the fun stuff he did with them before me. Okay, that's kind of you, unless he's fueling it. I never had retroactive jealousy until I had a boyfriend that all he did was have photos of all his exes in his apartment. And we'd gone to Florence together. We'd gone to Rome together. We'd gone to London together. His photo was on my nightstand. And I'm like, why am I no place in your apartment? And it was a control mechanism. It was for power. I don't know if that's the reason here, but you can't belabor the fact that he's had a life before you. That's you. Maybe I'll do that. Let me think about that. I want to see how much of a general interest there is. Jealousy in general might be a great conversation, and retroactive jealousy could be a wonderful sub-discussion underneath that. So I really thank you for that. Let's see, what else do we have, people? People who hide, run from, or deny their feelings and emotions need to work on themselves. Agreed, Queen Bee. Trying to be with someone that will only someone like that will only hurt you. I agree. Susan, next topic could be red flags. Oh, okay, that's a good idea. Oh, you guys, I didn't realize how long we're going into this. Red flags, that's a good one. You know, red flags are different for everyone, aren't they? Red flags, what are the red flags? Okay, and jealousy, that's good. I know I had something written down for next week and I can't remember what it was. Social media, putting pictures or acknowledging of your significant others for almost 2 years. Yeah, that's kind of inappropriate. Okay, so does anybody else? This is a great channel. Thank you, Athena. Did I miss anybody's commentary? Does anybody have what they say, a burning desire? Okay. She Race 7 is teaching them this. I'm not sure what that is. Let's see. You guys are talking to each other. I enjoy your insights. Let's see. Hi, Susan. 8 months. He wanted space. Okay, I've read that. That's what I don't know what that is. I don't know what this is. She Ray, whatever. That must be she's talking to somebody else. I think I've read almost all of these. If I have not, I will come back because I can't back scroll it the whole way. If I didn't answer your question and you did send me commentary, I'll put it in cap letters. So I want to remind all of you, Monday, you're going to see a video film and I'd like you to vote on it. We've got 3 contestants and they're guys. So ladies, if you think guys don't want to get their relationship right, 99%, I had like 2 or 3 women. I had scores of men who wanted to be the finalists. So when a man wants to get it right with you, he wants to get it right. So, I mean, it might be kind of obvious now, but I really do love men. And they are not bad, cruel creatures. There are women that are horrible, that are men that are horrible. Basically, most people want to love and be loved. And we're just trying to learn here a skill set that allows us to do so in a healthy way for ourselves and in a healthy way for the person that we're with. So I thank you all for joining me. I will be back next week, Monday. I have a special video coming out and we'll be doing a film. Susie's doing a movie here. And so this is where your contribution money is going to, because I want some more exciting stuff for you guys to do. I'm always looking for your input as far as what you want for these discussions. I do appreciate your super chat. You guys, thank you so much. Those of you, if you haven't subscribed, please do so. If you want to contact me or you want a session, go to susanwinter.net. Look at the consultation page. There are hundreds and hundreds of articles. There are thousands of interviews. So there's a lot of material there. You guys are absolutely the best. And for my Americans, happy Thanksgiving. I am so grateful for all of you who have made this little channel that I started adding to in 2016, like just so wonderful and so rewarding. And I adore all of you. Thank you so much. Have a beautiful day. And I wish you well. Thank you. Bye-bye now, everyone. Thank you.